The GMTK Game Jam is one of, if not the biggest game jam there is. At least, it's the biggest game jam that I know of. I've always wanted to do a game jam, which in a way I kind of did a few years back with my boy Smuffle, but life sort of got in the way of that one. Nevertheless, we've been training for this moment, so this year was going to be a different story. GMTK! Oh, and stick around to the end of the video for a big announcement. So the theme this year was loop, a word that could arguably be used to describe most, if not all games. So we had a lot more freedom than expected when it came to coming up with an idea, which Smuffle was very happy with. Before we began brainstorming ideas, we agreed that the genre we would go for is horror. We began with the quickest and easiest implementation of the theme we could, and made the map a big old donut that we could split into quadrants. We then stepped into my office and began throwing down ideas that would eventually become a very story-driven, abstract implementation of the theme loop. The idea of this game was simple. Each quadrant has one good memory and one bad memory that you had to find Where's Wally style. If you aren't in a room, that corner of your brain will decay, and the room will become dark. You can spend the good memories you collect to light the room back up, and you can spend the bad memories to close off that quadrant/chapter of your brain. Once all quadrants are destroyed, you move to the next age, and once you complete all 3 ages, then depending on how many good memories you hold on to, you'll see a different ending, but you'll have to go play it to see those. Before I could get started on any of the good stuff, and let me tell you, there's some good stuff. Smuffle, aka Big Baby Blue, needed to import a movement script he had lying around. He went with a standard jumpless character controller, with what I think is a really cool lerp tilt when moving sideways. With that and a basic quadrant in place, I was able to get started on the meat and bones of this bad boy. Interactions. Being able to get your grubby little mitts on all the good stuff really is the core of this project. Fortunately, a raycast with a simple layer mask is fundamentally all you need here. Combine that with a basic interaction script and voila! We have doors, pickups, generators, and anything else you fancy touching, really. And speaking of touching, I added a wet plane that slowly works its way up the thighs and drowns you. By this point it was around 4 in the morning, and my son wakes up around 8, so I slapped a mini-map in the bottom left of the screen, made sure it tracks the quadrant the player's in, then used a basic upscaled render texture to make the screen all pixelated. Partly for artistic reasons, and partly to mask any mistakes we make visually from this point onward. Staying up until 5 was definitely not the smartest idea I've ever had, but it's nothing a few coffees can't fix. After staring blankly at the screen for an hour or so, I snapped to and did a quick run to see what we currently had, which was surprisingly most of what we needed. So the focus of day 1 was Decay. We wanted this mechanic to be symbolic of your memory, so the further away from a room you are, the faster it decays. Much like how you forget memories that you don't often revisit. So I made the lights in the room scaled directly to the inverted decay. The more decayed the room is, the dimmer the lights are, until you're left in complete darkness with no way out. To keep players in the loop as it were, I update the minimap to show how decayed each room is. Then I spent the rest of day 2 just fixing annoying bugs and wrestling with Unity's version control system. I miss Git. Day 2 was interesting. With another night of very little to no sleep in the bank, I was really starting to feel the effects.
No slaves.
Hell yeah.
Keep it in. If you have any balls, you'll keep it.
Fortunately, Zombie Whack, with the moral support of the now newest member of Wakely Co, Cody P, did manage to get some important bits done. Most notably, a brand new area for the old section of the game. Sunshine Care. I even added a script to spin the windmill in the corner. On my second attempt. And with some indoor wind power installed, I faffed around in FL Studio to make a voice effect we could apply over the voice notes. and then stuck it into the robot for testing.
You cannot.
Oh, don't touch me there, Dad.
You gotta keep it in.
Maybe. After spending yesterday spinning my log for the boys on stream, I was in dire need of some real progress today. After all, this is a story-driven game with approximately 0 of the story written.
Right, we need to think of the words, Ollie. The words.
At some point, the words began to flow from my fingertips, and before we knew it, we had the full story written out into small voice notes. So all that we had to do now was record us saying the lines.
I can show you my dick.
So all I had to do was record the lines.
Mum used to say 3 sixes sit at the bottom of these bottles.
While I showed off my A-class acting skills, Ollie sharpened up the tutorial to lay out the core mechanics for people before they got into the game. And with that, it was finally time to throw someone into the game and see how they get on.
Yeah.
Did you get what the tutorial was trying to teach you, or did you just run it?
Wait, there was a tutorial?
Told you not to do that. The thing is that we're not going to be around to like walk people through.
Huh?
Oh no! No!
Yes, sir.
I told you.
3 hours later.
Oh, I played the wrong one, Ollie.
Did it?
Yeah, it's supposed to. He's unlocked the. Look on the wall now. Look on the wall. You got it. You got the sad ending.
But it played the cross.
It did.
So after that atrocity, we frantically polished and tweaked the game to make it a little bit easier to understand. We added subtitles, brightened the UI, matched particles to the box colours, made particle emission instant, fixed the audio bug, fixed the ending bug, made destroyed quadrants disappear from the map at the bottom, and finally added a simple graphic to explain the mechanics to use as a splash screen. With all this in place, we were feeling pretty confident that the tutorial was bulletproof and that the game was intuitive enough to bring on another playtester.
And that says, look and wait, which seems a bit long.
On the last day, we did some final bug fixing, set up the game page on itch, and then exported to WebGL. Or, we tried at least. It was at this point, mere hours before the deadline, that we learnt that the WebGL version of the game was completely cooked. Smiffle tried to get this working for a half hour or so before I made the tough decision to scrap the web build and just get a downloadable exe up on itch. We knew this would affect the amount of people that would be willing to play our game, but after 4 days of running ourselves dry on this project, we both just wanted to be done with it and move on. So after zipping the game up, I set the page to public, submitted it to the Game Jam, and then finally went for some well-deserved time with my beautiful partner and gorgeous baby boy. It was finally results day, the big day to see where we placed in the 2025 GMTK Game Jam. And well, we were eager to see our baby plastered across the top of each category.
I want to be at least above the last one.
Creativity.
Maybe it's just like maybe it's
No,
our
because
page.
we're going to be on the top for enjoyment. Oh wait, no.
Oh, it's Dracula. Oh no.
No, what about?
Maybe that.
No, but we must
maybe
be
the audio. Oh heavens.
So we didn't win, but I'm sure some people enjoyed our game, right?
So where did it come?
Not quite. Fortunately, from seeing our playtesters, we got a pretty good idea of what went wrong here. We found that people did enjoy the game, but only once they knew what they were doing, which wasn't helped by how little we seemed to explain in the tutorial. Although the tutorial made perfect sense to us, the developers, the game just sort of felt like a walking simulator to the playtesters, which in hindsight, I completely see how we could have made things a bit clearer. At least Cody P, our honorary moral support for the jam, seemed to really vibe with the project. So much so that we threw the code at him and left him to have a little fondle. One fan is better than none, I guess. So it's been a few days since the jam ended now, and I can't believe Big P himself managed to sway us. But we're doing a full Steam release, though we don't actually have the page up yet, but we do have a Kickstarter to help get this bad boy on Steam. Over the past couple of days, 24 Cody Chain has made some real spicy additions to the project that has re-sparked their interest in getting it across the line. So we've mapped out our MVP, as well as some slightly larger milestones that we've attached to stretch goals on the Kickstarter. These goals vary from doubling all the content that's in the game to adding a whole new difficulty for you sadistic fun. If you're interested in seeing this project reach its full potential, you want a custom voice line, or you just want to have your very own item added to the game, click the top link in the description and contribute to making our little masterpiece reality. Thank you to all the people that played our game and gave it a review. This has been an extremely tiring but fun experience. And if you're thinking about doing a game jam, you should go for it. The time pressure really forces you to push for a finished product instead of hyper-focusing on the little tiny details. I've learned so many valuable lessons in these 4 days, and I cannot wait to toss my sanity to one side and do this all over again. But this time, with all 3 of our ever-growing team.
Sorry, I was you recording? I'm sorry, I ruined it.